Hi, welcome back to For the Plot. I'm Jessica, I'm from Crossmaglen and I'm 18.
I'm Samantha, I'm from Crossmaglen and I'm 17.
I'm Kate, I'm from Clavey and I'm also 17.
I'm Annabelle, I'm 17 and I'm from Clavey.
And this week we have a guest. Would you like to introduce yourself?
I'm Sarah Armstrong, 31, bit older. Also from Crossmaglen.
Okay, and just for a bit of background for our listeners that don't sort of know who you are, can you give us a bit of
Brief description.
of what you sort of do and why you're here?
Okay. So I'm a dentist by trade. I also own a gym in Crossmaglen, so kind of work between the two. And I'm here because on the 20th of May of this month, I successfully summited Mount Everest and became the first, or the youngest and the 10th Irish woman to do so.
Wow. I can't get over this. Okay. So just gonna jump right into the questions then. So for how long did you sort of know that you wanted to complete the 7 summits?
I started doing the 7 summits in 2023, so 3 years ago. So not very long, really, when you think of sometimes the work that goes into some of them mountains. So Everest Base Camp was my first expedition, and from there I caught the bug and decided to do the 7 summits, which is the highest mountain in each continent in the world. So I've got 5 done now and I've got 2 left to do, so I'm on track to be the youngest Irish woman to complete them hopefully by next year.
Oh my next year? Mm-hmm. Wow, okay.
Impressive.
I literally never. So what was your main motivation to want to complete this?
I think I just caught the bug of mountaineering. I don't really know where it began, but it's something that kind of, as each mountain, as I began to do them, it's something I found I really enjoyed. I enjoyed the challenge of it, the struggle of it at times, and I think I've got a bit of a goalpost syndrome. So then when I heard 7 summits, I was like, right, I've got to do this next. It's like anything, it's just always another goal to look at and to push for. So if you always got one of them, you can work towards, and yeah, that's kind of got me to where I am now in 2026.
Okay, so talk us through your training process and how your training was balanced with your businesses at the same time.
Training, in general, I do a lot of high rocks in the gym in Crossmaglen. Played a lot of sport over the years, Gaelic football, camogie, netball. So I've always had a general good baseline fitness. And then I guess the mountaineering, it initially probably was an escape, maybe a holiday even. So a lot of these trips I would get away from work. I was uncontactable on my phone, which is nice. Whenever you're running a business, you need that break. And I just walked and talked, and they were 2 things I was quite good at. So, and that was really it. In terms of Everest, the training was a wee bit more difficult. When you're coming to talk about Everest and getting ready for it, it's something you have to train for quite a while with. And I mean, you get into a mountain like that, if you don't train and you're not prepared, like, your life depends on it. So I went down the hypoxic route for training, which I hadn't done before. So I bought a hypoxic chamber, and I would exercise. For example, I would go on the Stairmaster, which was stimulating mountaineering, with my bag on, my boots on, and with an oxygen mask on, where I could reduce the oxygen state that I was in. And then I would do maybe anaerobic sessions on a spin bike with that as well. A lot of strength work on the legs overall, and then a lot of endurance. So I did the Marathon des Sables as a mental endurance test, which was 44 hours in the Sahara Desert, 160 kilometres. So things like that, just to try and like mentally prepare for what lay ahead. And then the other thing I did was I slept in a hypoxic tent for 3 months. So
3 months straight?
Mm-hmm. So every night for 3 months, and I would reduce the oxygen every week. So I would start at 1,000 meters and then increase the height that I was at up to 5,000. I did up to 5,000 meters. So that meant when I was going to the Himalayas, I was technically acclimatized to base camp level. And that,
So you're like preparing your body for it almost, basically.
Yeah, so when you sleep in a hypoxic chamber, what essentially is happening, you're encouraging your body to produce more red blood cells so that the mitochondria can carry more oxygen. So when you get to somewhere where an altitude, your body responds better. That's the theory behind it. Yeah, it was something I never done before. Did it help? I think so. And Yeah, I enjoyed the training aspect to it, but I had to be consistent. And I trained twice a day for 6 months.
Oh my God. How did you train to like the latter part of Everest? How do you train for that?
Do you mean the like?
When you're going over like the ice falls.
The ladders. Sorry. Oh, I put ladders out in my garden and I practiced.
You're so prepared. You get your
I hope so.
You want to be. You have to be.
Mount Everest at home, like.
Exactly. In Crossmaglen.
Okay, so what was the scariest part and the most liberating part of climbing Mount Everest?
The scariest part was probably the ladders. You know,
Yeah.
some of the ladders, I've got some photographs you'll see on the Kumbu ice wall. There was 4 or 5 ladders tied together. And they got shakier as the trip went on, the more people that climbed over them. So that was definitely probably the scariest part. That and the coming down, the coming off Mount Everest. Like, that's what I've been saying to a lot of people since I came back. I would climb up it again, but I wouldn't ever come back down it again, you know, because you're so tired. It's quite technical. You're just absolutely exhausted, but you've got to remember when you get to the top, you're only halfway there, and the safety is getting back down. So that was the scariest probably bit. The most liberating, I would say, is getting there to the top, obviously, and getting off. I did enjoy aspects of it. I find it quite liberating to just be off work for that length of time. Being somewhere where you have no contact or very limited contact with people, and you've got just one goal to focus on, and everything. Life is stripped back. Like you don't have your Netflix and all of this. You've literally got a tent. You're eating basic food. You're living in really basic conditions, but at the same time, you meet people from all over the world, and you know the crack is in the card games and whatever you muster up between you at night time. And I mean, I think there's a bit of beauty in that. Like, and there's not many people who can say they went and they lived in those conditions for 2 months. So I was lucky and I'm privileged that I was able to even get that time off from my own businesses. So there was lots of liberating bits about it, but lots of scary bits about it as well.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
definitely. Would you say more if it was scary or liberating? Like, what did you feel more?
On the way up, liberating. On the way down, scary.
Yeah.
Definitely.
How has your mindset and perspective on life changed since climbing Mount Everest?
Or any of the summits,
Yeah,
5
from
that you've done?
I think probably the biggest shift in mindset is after Everest, for obvious reasons. I mean, we'll talk about maybe the descent that I experienced, but, you know, I ran into a lot of trouble getting down, and so therefore, like, I feel lucky to even be down. So I think since I've come back, I've got that new perspective. I think mindset and mountaineering, you learn a lot of endurance and a lot of grit. As I said, I was doing a talk in a school today, and someone asked me, you know, do you think it's the hardest sport in the world? And I think it is, because you can do Ironman and you can do half marathons, you can push your body to absolute crazy limits, which a lot of people do. But there could be first aid waiting there for you at the end, at the end goal. But when you're on Mount Everest, like, there's nobody waiting for you, and there's no one coming to get you either. So you're putting yourself up in a position where you've got to back yourself. You've got to know you yourself have to get yourself off that mountain, and there's no really help coming at any point.
Yeah, definitely. Sorry, I don't know.
Samantha knows all about it, don't you, Samantha?
Oh, yeah, I climb many mountains myself.
Like the Mourns, or?
Okay, so talk us through like the process of curating your own gym.
My gin?
Yeah.
That came about because I was trying to raise some money for charity, and I wanted to do something a little bit different, and I just thought that would be a really cool thing to do. So really enjoyed it. It was you know, getting the taste of it right, different ingredients. A lot of the gin is citrus, caraway, and juniper. And what's interesting about the juniper is that when you're at base camp, there's a ceremony called the puja ceremony where you get like a blessing that allows you safe passage on the mountain, and they burn juniper. So we took the juniper and we put that into the gin, so that all ties back to Nepal. And yeah, just like the labelling and different things, it was an exciting project and for a good cause.
How long did it take you to like curate it all and like make it final?
I think I started that around October, November, and it was for sale in pre-sales were February, and then it was with people by March. So
God.
I remember seeing it for the first time in a few schools.
Yeah, same. That's what I was saying to her earlier. So obviously, you've had so many achievements within mountaineering, but what's your biggest achievement outside of mountaineering?
Probably my businesses, maybe. So I first opened the gym when I was 20. So it's been open now 11 years. At different places, it's gone from being a garage converted and then up into North Street and commercial. And that started from nothing. I mean, I remember the first circuit class I ran in the Rangers Hall. I was in university at the time, and I'd rented equipment off a school, and that just built. And I still have the same kettlebells that I had then that I bought in like Aldi, do you know. So that was like that really was where I kind of learned business. And then the dentist, I opened that 3 years ago, and that was another massive learning curve. And then we've won many awards as well within the dentistry. So all of that has been a good achievement. Yeah, it's been busy.
Yeah.
Busy
Oh
life.
my God.
Wow.
What made you want to start your own gym?
The gym, because I was studying dentistry at the time and was struggling if that was actually something I wanted to do. And my mother was a PE teacher, and I really wanted to be a PE teacher. That's what I wanted to do. And then I thought, how am I going to get the balance? So I went and did my gym instructor and personal training. And then I just got asked to start running classes, and I started working in gyms when I was in university, and kind of just fell in love with that end of the sport, and it gave me the balance, and it was a good job to have. So I think it just developed from there. And now I've got 2 jobs.
So you did your PT training and everything while in university for dentistry?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Wow.
You know how to multitask.
Okay, what was the response from your friends and family whenever you told them you were gonna climb Mount Everest?
Probably that I was crazy and that I wasn't going. But yeah, like there's concern obviously, but majority support, and any concern or criticism or whatever there is, it comes from a good place. It's not from a place of badness. But I mean, I was absolutely blown away by everyone when I was there. I didn't really comprehend the traction that it had got when I was there on the mountain, until I got back to Cross last week. And now I've been hearing all the stories and, you know, all these group chats that were going around Cross and Glen. I don't think anyone slept that night.
Oh my God.
You know, it was absolutely, the magnitude of it was unbelievable. And obviously they're really proud now. And they're also like, you're never going away again.
Yeah.
Staying home
Do you
from
think
now
there
on.
was more like support or more like, please don't go?
I think they all knew I was going to do it anyway, regardless. So they had to just get behind it. No, I think it was more support than don't go. But I'll be locked in now, I'd say.
Yeah.
You're staying
go
across
back.
for the foreseeable future.
Yeah.
And what was the loudest thought in your mind, like on the mountain?
Well, this year in Everest was one of the most turbulent years in history because of the delays on the mountain. That was the biggest thing. There was a lot of waiting around. You needed a lot of patience. The Kumbu ice ball didn't open for up to 2 to 3 weeks, so I was stuck at base camp for a long, long time. So the loudest thought was just to stay focused and stay mentally in it at that point, because it just became, you know, unbearable the waiting game. And then I think getting down, the thing that just screamed out to me was like, just don't fall, stay safe, you know. It's more the safety end of it. I don't think any of it really sank in actually until I got back even to Ireland. Even now, it was all very just up in the air and just chaos in my head until I got back to safety.
Yeah. And have you faced any permanent consequences from climbing it?
So on the descent, I suffered snow blindness, which has improved. I also suffered frostbite on my fingers, which hasn't improved as of yet, but will with time. So nope, like if all I have is frostbite, that'll go away in a few months. I don't think I've done too badly.
Yeah.
How
Maybe a
did
bit of
the
PTSD.
snow blindness like affect you while climbing down? Like
Well,
you couldn't see at
couldn't
all.
see, like, yeah, this was the problem. My eyes were completely shut and I was trying to abseil and it just was a bit of a disaster. But I had to keep moving to get down because I had ran out of oxygen. So we just had to do our best to rope myself as best I could and just try and keep my footing But it delayed me massively in the sense that my time on the mountain, because from our summit push, from leaving, so there's 4 camps, I had to do my summit push from camp 3 because of the level of queues that had went for the weather window, which meant from camp 3 to the summit took 36 hours.
No stopping.
No stopping, yeah. Oh, wow. And then to back to camp 4, but because I had started to get frostbite and my oxygen regulator started to leak, I didn't have enough to move that same night, which then led to a second night in camp 4, which is the death zone. Your body doesn't survive at that level. So the next day I got up, that meant that I was very, very slow moving. I mean, every 10 steps I'd have to sit back down. Then the eyes started to swell. So like getting back from camp 4 to camp 3 took nearly 14 hours then the following day as well. So that was an obscene amount of time to be stuck in them conditions, and obviously that's what's caused the issues with the body, you know.
Yeah. And whenever like you were in like that pain and you were so exhausted, how did you like differentiate between like I need to push through or like just wanting to quit? Like, was there moments whenever you were like, I just need to quit?
Yeah, and there was moments because again the queues. There's a section on Everest called the Hillary Step, and it's like a bottleneck, and it's really, really technical, and we faced up to 2-hour queues there, and that's when the fingers started to really feel a bit different. And I actually, at that point, I decided to turn back because I thought it's just not safe anymore. So I must have come back, but I was only about 60 metres from the summit, so I could see it. Yeah. And I had started to turn back, and then something in me was like, I'm never coming back here again. So I went back up then. So I summited at 1:30, which is probably one of the latest summits. There's a 2 p.m. turnaround. So I was very close to to not being able to make it. And then I think, the way back down, it was really hard to keep moving. It was so much easier to sit down and stop, but like it was just trying to do a wee bit at a time to keep going and keep going. Like as I said, there's no one going to come help you. So unless you push yourself, you're not coming down.
What is the next challenge that you think you're going to face?
Getting back to work.
Back into routine.
Back to routine is going to be hard, definitely. My next challenge is actually in September. So I'm doing Afghanistan to China.
You're back already?
Back already. No, it was already booked. Afghanistan to China, which is by foot through Kyrgyzstan. So it's 10 marathons in 10 days.
Oh my God.
How is that enjoyable? I actually don't know.
It's type 2 fun.
Yeah, it really is. Has to be.
We're like
and you have to do like a lot of training for that as well. Just like continue it on.
The good thing about after when you come back from altitude, it's a bit like doping, sport doping, because I now have so many red blood cells. So aerobically, my VO2 max should be off the charts. So this is why I'm going to do this one next. But that's that. That's not really altitude though. So. But next year I'll finish off the 7 summits, which is Denali in Alaska and the Antarctic, Mount Vincent in the Antarctic.
Oh my God. That's actually crazy. What would you tell your 16-year-old self?
What would I tell? Not to go up any mountains. No, I don't know.
Stay well away.
Come back now.
My 16-year-old self was probably a bit crazy then too, doing silly things. I mean, I think when I did a cycle around Europe at 18 once on a bike that went from it was 3 months on a bike camping and just
Jessica, you're 18.
Kind of bum at 18.
I don't even know. Just seeing bands along the way. So I think there was always a wee bit of crazy in me. So I don't think really... but I don't regret any of it. So I tell my 16-year-old self to keep going, keep her lit.
Were you always like doing it alone?
No, I don't always do these trips alone. And every trip I do go on, I meet people. Like I've met people like all over the world. I have friends and the most amazing friends, because what you'll find is the people that you meet in these mountains are like-minded. Like no one's there that doesn't want to be there.
Yeah.
So you meet some amazing people, like people who are have achieved much more than I have as well. And it's funny because you do these things and everyone thinks, oh, Everest is great, but I met people on Everest that were doing 3 mountains, 8,000 metre mountains there, or were doing things like climbing without oxygen and then skiing off it, you know, like, so.
You're so concerned.
Oh, is that legal to ski off Everest?
Yeah, it's a big thing now. So,
Right, when
I
are we
mean,
going?
there's always,
Can't even ski in France.
yeah, so, no, you meet the most amazing people along the way, so I would never worry about going anywhere by yourself in that sense, because you'll always meet someone.
Yeah.
And you're always glad as teammates, as much as mountaineering is probably a solo thing, a solo expedition, but there's like people on that mountain that helped me get from Camp 4 to 2 or vice versa, and like I wouldn't be here, they wouldn't be here without, you know,
Yeah.
Need the
sharing.
support.
Us all like keep each other motivated to keep going.
And when you're sick, you know, they're telling put your oxygen on, or it's that maybe when you're having a bad day or they're having a bad day, you help them, you feed them, you keep them, you know,
Yeah.
make sure that they're drinking water and looking after themselves.
When you had like snow blindness, how did you get over the Combu ice fall?
Well, I couldn't go back down the Combu ice fall. This was the problem. So I had a helicopter rescue from Camp 2 because I couldn't. And then the helicopter had to be stripped bare, because to get a helicopter up to that height is really challenging in the altitude. So like the back seats, everything had to come out of it to be in order for it to get light enough to fly to come up. But there was no way I could have gone back over the Combu ice fall in the condition that I was. But it may be better going over it when you can't see, because it's not.
That's scary. You don't see the drop.
It's not a particularly.
I've seen photos of that drop. I can't even imagine. Even looking at photos of it.
Yeah,
But the thing
is,
is, you have to look down at the ring of the ladder to get your crampon in, so you can't avoid.
Looking. You know, when you're heighting, people's like, just don't look.
You can't avoid.
Just like
looking
sprint across
because
over the best.
Put your skis on.
Yeah.
What would you like our listeners to take away from today?
Maybe to always have a goal and to set a target for yourself and work towards achieving that, whether that's, I mean, Jesus, it doesn't have to be Everest, it could be your own Everest, of whatever that is, a 5k or a
Sleeve Gullion.
sleeve gullion.
Fairy walk.
You know, sleeve gullion, exactly. It's still, you know, just have something that you can always push towards and achieve, and then you get, you know, sport is an amazing thing to be able to do, and there's so many different sports you can do, not just mountaineering, but definitely just to have that goal, I think.
So motivational. How did you stay in contact with your family when you were on Mount Everest?
So you have Wi-Fi you have to pay for it, but you do have Wi-Fi at base camp. It's sometimes touch and go, but it's not too bad. So obviously you've got your trek into base camp as well.
Yeah.
So that's a trip on its own. So that takes 10 to 12 days of trekking in, and you stay in tea houses, which is Nepalese locally run B&Bs, for want of a better word, and they can have Wi-Fi if you pay for it as well. So I do that. Sometimes when I'm away on a long expedition, I try not to be honest, because sometimes you have to focus, and the distraction of it can be a lot. And then there's some mountains I've climbed in Argentina where they had working Wi-Fi all the way up to nearly 7,000 meters. They had no tile or anything, but they had Wi-Fi. So it
That's
just
mental.
like
Wi-Fi comes first.
yeah, so it just depends. And then I got a little bit of hotspot in Camp 2, and then of course I had the GPS satellite, so I could message people through that, and they could track me through that. So yeah, but other than that, quite limited contact. That's why it's great.
Yeah.
What were you eating on the mountain? Like, what was
Diet-wise.
your source of like food and
So-
water and?
So
How does it not freeze? Like,
well, they're actually, you know what, they're very clever in what they do. So at base camp, you have a chef there in your camp. So base camp is like a village, thousands of people. It could take you 2 hours to walk from one side to the next. There's lots of different expedition companies. Each expedition company will have their own base camp, so they'll have their mess tent, their kitchen tent, your own tent. You know, so you have that. So we ate well at base camp, breakfast, lunch, dinner. That was fine. In terms of how they keep food fresh, a lot of it is just helied in on a helicopter. And then in terms of keeping like meat and things like that, what they'll either do is they'll put it in a barrel and put it down into the glacier lakes and then pull it out as they need it, or they'll bury it in the snow, so that keeps it fresh. Then you've got to obviously carry your food then higher up. So that's where the rotations come in. So you always have to hit each camp twice. So you're gonna have to carry stuff up to camp 1 through the ice wall, come back down, and then carry your carry the rest of your stuff. So you can be self-sufficient on the mountain, and the food gets a bit dire then when you get higher up, to be honest. It's like expedition food, so you just add hot water to it.
Yeah.
And you just eat it out of a packet.
There we
not
go.
even no, not a pot noodle. And then the water is glacier water, so you have to treat it with a tablet to sterilize it before you can drink it, like a chlorine tablet. And then higher up, it's melted snow. So this is the issue. Then like there's work on a mountain like Everest. There's work on a mountain like Aconcagua. Like you're not just laying about. There's things to do. Like you've got to get your water, so you've got to get up. You've got to get your snow, get it melted, get that into there's a lot of work. You end up working it feels like a day's work sometimes. And what was the other question? The food. And then things freeze very quickly, so it's got to be stuff that you like, and then you can get into it when you're really tired. And of course, when you go up in altitude, you completely lose your appetite, so you don't want to eat. Your body starts to kind of shut down. You don't want to eat, but you have to eat, so you're trying just to get anything into you at that stage. And then on the way down, again, because the way the trip went for me and the delays and how long I was up there at above 8,000 metres, it just came to handfuls of snow at that point for a while.
Well, as well, I'd say.
Does the job anyway.
As long as there's no pain around you.
Yeah. I don't know. But you don't eat yellow snow.
Yeah. Don't eat yellow snow.
Yeah, tip of the day.
That's what we want our listeners to
I
take away.
couldn't see. God knows what colour the snow I was.
So thank you for listening, and thank you to Sarah, our guest. We're away to sleep, Gullion now. See you later. Bye. And call.